Hello, welcome to the Guest at Marris Consulting series. In fact, we're not at Marris Consulting at all. We are in Chicago, USA at the TOC ICO conference in 2019. And I took the opportunity to pursue Kelvyn Youngman to interview him because you might know the name, but you certainly know the website because this website, dbrmfg.co.nz, is the best content website concerning the theory of constraints in the world, and indeed there is no second. So I'm so glad to be able to ask him to describe what made him do it and tell us all about it, and you can put a face behind the blue website, as some call it. So Kelvyn, thank you for accepting to do this video. Tell me, when did it all start, this website?
While I was working in Japan in some very large factories there, I kind of made a proto page and it developed from that. And
because you were one of the first people implementing theory of constraints in production when I was in the year about 2000. And you're doing it in Japan, doing theory of constraints, constraints plus lean,
and you know, Japan is like the holy grail, I guess, for manufacturing, and I'd had a very successful implementation in New Zealand. In fact, the goal was coming out in Japanese at the time, and I was already there, and I was helping somebody translate into Japanese, or providing the English content, and the opportunity came up. So I literally got on the plane within about a week, and I was off, and we had a terrific implementation there in some very large factories.
Okay.
So the website, I kind of made a proto page there, and when I got back to New Zealand, I really wanted to put some context into what Ali was doing, because everything that Ali was doing had no reference behind it. You know, if you go and look in the Goldratt work, there's no reference to anything else.
And then little by little you added
the rest.
It
wasn't little by little. There was a major undertaking. A
one-shot undertaking?
Yep.
When was that?
2003 onwards, so maybe over a period of 3 years. And
so now it's got the stuff on theory of constraints in production. What else has it got in there?
So I did production. Distribution was something that very few people knew about at that stage. So and it was really hard to get the material. So I tried to describe distribution. And I did so.
Yeah.
And critical chain was also poorly understood.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, and then I did some private pages on healthcare because I had a very keen interest in healthcare.
Yeah.
And up to about 2009, I kept adding little bits and pieces, and then I stopped supporting it, I guess, and started to write in different places.
Yeah. There's also some stuff on thinking processes.
For sure, and that's a debt to Bill Dettmer, really.
Yeah.
But I guess at that time there was very little else on the internet on TP, and I just did the very, very basic stuff, and I believe people pick it up and run with it, which is exactly what I wanted to do. And I guess there's a lot of things on clouds there.
Okay. So the name, the first part. DBRMFG for manufacturing, it's theory of constraints in production, okay, and that's what you were doing at the time. And the .co.New Zealand is because, unless anybody hasn't guessed, you're from New Zealand. And so that's where it started. You put a few pages out in the year 2000, and then tell me how it blossomed.
It blossomed, I think, because of the lack of information available. There were really good books from St. Lucie Press at the time. Yeah. But I think there was something lacking. There certainly wasn't anything on the internet at that time, and you had to make your own web pages out of Word and Explorer, but that wasn't too difficult.
Yeah.
So I thought there was a gap there. Lots of people misunderstood what was required, and they still do. And this was an attempt to correct some of that misunderstanding.
Anything else in there?
Anything else in there? There's all sorts of things there, and people come to me at a conference and they quote back to me things that I think, oh my God, I wrote that. And I don't remember it.
Do you know how much there is? How many pages or whatever?
Goodness, I do, and it's embarrassing. There's about 800 A4 pages in there. I actually do know the text count.
Yeah.
And I do know the diagram count. And in fact, I've got a little Excel spreadsheet.
Okay.
With
so how many words? How many diagrams?
I don't know that off the top of my head anymore.
Okay. And as I say, it's the website on the subject of theory of constraints. So people keep coming, trying to convince you to get it translated into Chinese, Russian, and stuff. Is that right?
That's correct. So I don't know how many languages, but I do have the total number of requests for different translations hidden away somewhere. And of course, all the diagrams actually take on a life of their own. Yeah. And then they turn up on the internet by themselves, clipped out. And I think that's quite funny.
Okay, well, thank you very much. For those who haven't looked at his website, you can see the website name here and how to get in and enjoy the visit and visit it again and stuff, because it's really a reference site. It's the sort of place where you'll go, you'll start browsing, but if you want a good reminder of any element of content of the theory of constraints, the best place to go, as far as I'm concerned, it is the best website on theory of constraints content, and there is no second. So you really should go there, go back again, put it in your favorites and all that stuff, because it's exceptional. So I'm so pleased to have got Kelvyn to explain how he did it, why he did it, and all that. So there it is, dbrmfg.co.New Zealand, because he's from New Zealand. Thank you very much.